Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi is warning of, quote, unpredictable consequences for the region. This after Rwandan-backed rebels seized the eastern city of Goma. Tshisekedi says his government is preparing a response to the conflict. Meanwhile, Rwanda denies backing the rebels or having troops in Congo.
M23 are not Rwandans, please. These are Congolese, and one time he accepts it, then another time he says no, part of it is yes, and then the other part is from Rwanda, and these are He keeps on going. And how do we, leaders of our own countries, accept this to go on forever?
For more, Bloomberg's Nziro Ganga joins us now from Kigali, Rwanda. You've been on this story all week, and certainly we're beginning to hear more now from heads of states in surrounding countries. What stood out to you from the extraordinary heads of state summit that took place in the last 24 hours, Nziro?
Hi, Jumana. So this meeting was first scheduled way later on in the evening. So we woke up to news that the summit had actually happened. And if you listen to President Paul Kagame, he looks and he sounds very frustrated, not only with the fighting in DRC, but also how Rwanda has been roped into the whole situation. International bodies like the UN and the US have accused Rwanda of backing M23 rebels, an allegation that you just had in the soundbite, him denying and saying Rwanda is not backing M23 rebels. But it looks like this narrative has seeped into the region and blame is being exchanged. There's a lot of finger pointing behind closed doors. And case in point, President Paul Kagame says his South African counterpart, Cyril Ramaphosa, called him. They've had a conversation, yet the context of their discussion is being heavily distorted by South African officials, the president included. And he says, I quote, if South Africa wants to contribute to a peaceful solution, that is well and good, but South Africa is in no position to take the role of a peacemaker or mediator. And this is after South Africa has lost 13 soldiers in the fighting so far, and pressure is mounting back home. But the other elephant in the room was DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi was missing during this virtual meeting. Instead, he addressed his people through a televised address where he called for resilience and resistance.
And of course, all of these conversations are happening at the same time as the situation in Goma has been on the international radar. How is the situation right now in the eastern part of Congo? What does it look like? How has the evolution been just in the last couple of days?
It's a mixed bag of goods. You have some that have hope. They're going back home after crossing over the border, seeking refuge in Rwanda. They're beginning to cross back into Congo. Then you have fear still lurking in the environment. We're seeing experts leaving. We're seeing some of the contracted mercenaries leaving. And there's also anger. There are protesters that invaded some embassies, including Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and the UN building. And they burned a couple of tires outside of these premises. But also, despite the fact that there are calls for ceasefire, the Rwandan regional ambassador expects M23 to keep charging forward in the south of Kivu unless this dialogue, and President Felix Tshisekedi has not shown any interest in dialogue with M23.